Looks incredible, guys. Super happy with how the kit turned out aesthetically. Obviously, it just looks so good. Quality and fitment wise, fantastic. Lonestar did a great job building it. The powder coat's nice. I mean, everything lined up. I have absolutely no complaints about any part of the suspension setup. I've spent a few days, this is actually a week later, adjusting things like ride height. So I went in and did all the preload on the shocks, got it up to where I wanted it. You know, Shock Therapy recommended 14 inches front, 13.5 in the back. That was on a stock width machine and smaller tires. So after looking up a few things online, I settled on 17 inches in the front and 16.5 inches in the back. Other than that, I played with the radius rods to get the camber right in the back and adjusted the toe up front. Some pretty simple things, but just went through nuts and bolts and double checked what I did. But yeah, really happy with it. We're going to be in Glamis here in just a couple of days. And I think I'm going to end up spending probably the first day, because we've got some film projects in camp, while working on those things, probably tweaking this. I would say just do kind of a shakedown run and adjusting the clickers and playing with it and seeing how it feels. Hopefully no major adjustments have to be done the first trip, but I'll probably mess with it quite a bit before we go out and hit the big dunes. Anyways, a couple of things that came up in the comments from the last video. People mainly wanted to know why I chose Lonestar Racing. So to address that real quick, pretty simple stuff. Guys, I did buy the kit, so looking at all the manufacturers that I liked, and I liked a lot of the long travel kits that were out there. The three main reasons I would say is, one, it did not extend the wheelbase. There are a few kits that don't, but of the ones I was looking at, this one doesn't make the wheelbase any longer, and that was important to me. I just didn't want it longer. I've had the car in a lot of different places in Utah and Moab and sand dunes and rocks and all kinds of stuff, and I like the stock wheelbase, been happy with it, so I didn't want to extend the wheelbase. That was one of the things. Two, this is very subjective, an aesthetic thing for me that you guys may or may not like. I like the tubed front A-arms, and I like that it's a little bit lighter. A lot of the kits out there are boxed for the A-arms up front, and given that that's going to be stronger, it's also going to be heavier. I think it was a little bit overkill for me, being that the Razor spends 80% of its life in sand dunes, so I'll take a little bit of weight savings, and I also like the look of the tubed A-arms. And really, number three, and this is just again my well, it's not really my opinion, I think it's fairly accurate. Lonestar Racing has been around for so long in the off-road racing scene, and I would argue that, I think we all could, that they probably are the most widely run aftermarket suspension company for pro race UTVs. So it's not like I'm going to go race it, but from an R&D perspective, a company that's been in the game for this long, building kits that are just so abused and taking so many people to podiums and race wins and all kinds of good stuff. I felt just good buying from that company because it's peace of mind for me that it's a quality suspension setup that I'm going to feel good putting on my car, which I'm not going to drive nearly as hard, and that it's going to hold up to abuse over the long run. But that was it in a nutshell. I just wanted to get that out to you guys. I appreciate you watching the videos. I hope you enjoyed them. Stick around. Like I said, we're going to be in the desert just a couple of days, and we're going to have a whole bunch of videos testing this thing and all the good stuff that I've missed doing and missed making video-wise for a few months. So it's time, but enjoy the rest of the install. That's going to start here in just a second. I appreciate you. Please subscribe to the channel. Guys, we'll see you here real shortly. All right? Take care. Bye. just a quick update when you get to this point. Okay, so I've got the brake line all undone, and it's just hanging on by the last trailing arm bolt up front, the main one. To get the brake situation off, before you can take these 4 off like I started to do, I forgot I got to take these 2 off to take the brake caliper off, and you can access the back side of the bolt heads for these guys, because that bottom one's not going to be able to get gotten to until you get this part. Also, perfect time to grease wheel bearings. I have not greased the rear wheel bearings in about, I want to say, around 1,000 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done while I'm at it. And yeah, it's not going to get any easier than this to get this wheel bearing greased up with this all apart. So I'm going to get this cleaned up real quick, and then we'll get the wheel bearing greaser out and get her going. That, guys, is one trailing arm out. To grease the wheel bearing, okay, which is what you're seeing in front of you if I can get the camera. God bless it, focus, buddy. There we go. Okay, wheel bearing, really easy to grease. I'm not going to do it on camera because I've greased them before on camera. But this is, again, as a reminder, focus. That is the wheel bearing greaser that I am using. The bearing greaser by, well, it's called the bearing greaser, TGH, model P44. It was specific for this year in application. All right, so if you're going to Google this, make sure, I'm sure they make other ones. Really easy though. See that slot where all the grease comes out? Going to line up with that slot you see inside there. That's how the grease gets in the wheel bearings. So make sure you guys grease your wheel bearings, because I heard a lot of bad things about wheel bearings being pretty crappy on these machines. But like anything, if you maintain stuff, usually you won't have as many problems. So try to grease them fairly often. This will be the second time in 1,600 miles. So I'd say that's pretty good. All right, guys. Be back in a minute. Oh man, all right, I was able to bang out the side. Went a lot faster, obviously not filming it, but everything is done. We're not really gonna get a good feel for what it looks like till it's got the wheels on and it's dropped, but I got all the brake lines in their little spots, and like I said, there was plenty of room on the back to get all that done. So looks really, really good. A couple of things I did wrong initially is I had these spacers on the outside. Pretty stupid. They go on the inside, okay? If you don't put them on the inside, rear bottom radius rod's gonna make contact with the bottom of the trailing arm. So I had to redo that, but that's it. I'm gonna get the garage cleaned up. It's a disaster zone. We're gonna get the wheels on and we're gonna drop it. I'm going to get the sway bar lengths adjusted, and then I'll come back to you guys pretty much when it's wrapped up.